But that means that the entire process has been corrupted, isn't it?
No, the entire process has been corrupted for ages. It's not a new thing. It has been corrupted for ages, and people have understood that the first thing you do, you capture the African National Congress. There are many incidences, pathetic incidences, embarrassing incidences. Even there was a zone here in Tshwane where a criminal who steals cars, Amaginza, became the chair of a zone, and his group came to celebrate by spinning cars that we've now got the ANC. So this has also permitted into communities. Criminal syndicates know how to penetrate the pillars of power and ensuring that we can also benefit. They celebrated, and this was reported in a meeting I attended of the NEC by a member of the NEC who was in that zone, who was shocked by this kind of behavior. But I can tell you that comrade continued to lead the zone. His groupings continue to be admitted into the African National Congress.
0861-987-000. You can also tweet at Aldrin Sapir, hashtag Power Talk, and also tweet at PowerFM987. Sean, good morning. Sure.
Good morning, Aldrin, and to your guests. Wow, really interesting conversation. Enjoying it. Just something that we started speaking the other day on the open line. We didn't see our time. We didn't have time to unpack it. But I just really think we need to change the definition of how we look at corruption. Corruption shouldn't be if you're dropping off money in bags. There's formalized corruption that happens every day. As I was saying the other day, if you sit on my board and I pay you 5 million rand a month, basically come to one meeting, I think you're going to start looking out for my interests or one of your family members. But there's a term that we use in business that you never hear in government, and it's such a rubbish argument when people say just because I'm a member of government, I should be able to do business. No, that term is called conflict of interest. You never hear it in government. If I work for SPAR and I'm now appointed to the board of women, I can't do that because it's a conflict of interest. Even within family members, if your wife or somebody very close to you works for another company, there's always the term conflict of interest. So I think we need to start ironing that out and teaching people in government that there is such a thing as conflict of interest. And as well, just broaden the idea of what it means to be corrupt. Once again, if you sit on my board and I pay you millions a month, that is a form of corruption. Looking at me at a level.
Sean, we lost you there for a second. You were saying, if you sit on the board? Hi, Sean? Okay, but we got the nub of it. Butana, good morning.
Good morning, and good morning to your guest there, Mapaila. It's the first time I agree with him. But our vote is just a symptom, Mapaila. And I agree with you. You know these crooks, they run parallel structures. Right from to the house. The crooks will get the memberships, and they will register all the people and promise them the party packs, promise them the Russia, all those things. The legitimate structure won't even go to the conference. Crooks takes over, and nothing has been there all along. That is why the ANC is like this. It's run by crooks.
Okay, thank you, Butana. Ngatile, good morning.
Good morning, Andrea. And then I just want to ask him that Mapaila, as a members of ANC, also members of SACP. SACP benefited from VBS, or any members of SACP benefited from VBS. Because why I'm asking this question, many times I hear Julius Malema say SACP benefited from VBS. So just want to...
Yeah,
this is my question to Mapaila.
Okay. Mr. Mapaila?
Yeah, specifically, maybe let me start with the last point, because this has been repeated several times as a way of diverting real issues. SACP never benefited from VBS. In fact, there was a member of the party who was a leader in the province of Limpopo, who has since been removed. In fact, was the first one to be removed when he acted in his position as the mayor that actually invested in that municipality against the advice of officials. And we had since taken firm action instant to remove that particular comrade. But SACP had never benefited from VBS. As you know, there were allegations that were made to us through corrupt individuals who also corrupted media fellows. And actually, we took this matter to the press ombuds, and we were able to prove through, in fact, this was carried by City Press, were able to prove that we never benefited from VBS. They were trying to make extended links between some individuals that had donated money to the party congress, and that was proven through the press ombud, as well as our disclosing our accounts to prove that we have never received any money from VBS. So Julius Malema and his fellows in the EFF are trying to create a complete diversion. On the contrary, SACP has paid a heavy price by standing together with the community that has been affected by the looting of the VBS, to the extent that we already have lost 3 members. The 4th one was not our member, but they worked closely with us in the fight against corrupt looters of the VBS bank. So it is that very clear. We never benefited from VBS.
But what happened to Gilbert?
He has been suspended and removed from his position as a leader of the party. As you know, we now have an acting secretary until the Congress. The Congress should have taken place early this year in April, but was postponed because of the pandemic. But he has been removed from that particular position.
Why not expelled?
Well, because we removed him from his position immediately on the basis of links. As you know, he had addressed a party public meeting denying the knowledge of this matter. And actually, at that point in time, we defended him when he said he didn't know. And only to find that evidence will be brought to our attention, wherein he signed authorization of the government that he was leading, that is the Polokwane municipality, Capricorn district municipality, to the extent that they invested with VBS. In any case, it's also important to say that municipality recovered its money. But the issue here was the value system. His participation, and yet denying that he actually participated. And when we got that information, we removed him. But to the extent that he was not expelled is also because he also sought to take the matter under review with Advocate Terry Mutau's report on VBS. So on that basis, we appreciated that space. But what we could do instant was to remove him from his position in the Communist Party and from all activities of the Communist Party.
Would he be allowed to stand?
No, he will not be allowed to stand under current circumstances.
Okay then. Navarre, good morning.
Good morning, Adrian. Commissar, thank you very much.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for giving such refreshing ideas about what needs to be done to move forward. I think, to be honest with you, as an activist of the movement, I've been in the organization for more than 20 years now as an active member of the Youth League and the ANC. The truth is that money politics have always been there since time immemorial in the organization. And many of us would not know that comrades use money to do certain things, and we were not able to be elected because we were very genuinely normal activists of the organization. But it's inevitable in the party that lead government that you will have such interest. So I think that the ANC must regulate its processes, and we have advocated in Nazareth that we must have what we call an independent electoral commission that actually vet and manage election process of the ANC to the extent that those who don't qualify must actually be removed. So there's resistance by some in the organization because this is going to be a very tedious process where we select the best amongst us to lead the organization. But I fully agree with the process that the ANC has put in place. And it's not, in fact, I can tell you now there are certain things that Soli will understand. When we have a rally of the party in Mpumalanga, we need money to have transport, we need money to have this and that. And people will bring money. And we won't say no, because we want the rally to happen.
Yeah.
You know, when you want to have political school, Comrade Soli, you want people to eat. They can't spend the 6 hours sitting in a meeting where there's no water.
Okay, your point is taken. Navarre Sisa, good morning.
Morning, Aldrin. How are you?
Good.
Good morning to Mapaila as well. I just
morning.
Yes, Mapaila. Mapaila, I know that we are talking, at length about the ANC, but I wanted to check, zoom into the party intra-politics, whether, we've witnessed a growth in size in terms of the SACP in the country. When you look at the quality of leadership, is there any active program, or is the party deliberate about developing a particular caliber of leadership that should speak to these sophisticated challenges that you are talking about? Because we've seen growth
and being an active member of the party as well as the Young Communist League in the past, we've also seen, us going down south in terms of the quality of cadership that we're producing in us.
Okay. Mr. Mapaila, I'm going to ask you to respond to that. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Apologies, Sisa. Just briefly.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think, yes, that's true. We do have a comprehensive program to respond to this. Firstly, the program to train our political cadres. We have recently launched the Jack Simon Party School. Jack Simon was one of our senior party leaders who trained MK combatants in politics in the camps. And we also have re-established our Conference of Women's Commissars as well as Conference of Commissars that continuously train our cadres on the correct path of political activism, and of course on implementation of our programs. But I must also say that I agree with some of the comments made broadly by other speakers, including the fact that corruption has itself evolved and become sophisticated. So the response that on guiding the organizational processes should also take that into account, including multiple roles and influences, including those of a business. By the way, on Friday last week, we convened a conference on corruption as the SACP, in which many other organizations participated in that, and we have developed some guidelines and issued a joint declaration. And we also complimented and welcomed the conference of South African Conference of Council of Churches that took place 2 days later on Sunday. They also participated in our conference. We complement each other in this important fight, and we'll continue to support such kind of activism, including the one that was led largely by the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation on the Orange Overall campaign, which we have joined, and many others. That conference, for instance, had resolved many decisions, have taken many decisions on how to assist government to tackle this problem of corruption, as well as not only in the public sector, but also in society and the private sector as well, who corrupt those in government.
Just a quick one. With this commitment around implementing the 54th National Congress's resolutions, do you think that this should also be extended to the conversation around the Reserve Bank as well, with the same vigor?
All aspects of state and state institutions, it must impact in every other area, because if you leave one area, that becomes a new source of corruption and of capture. So that is why it becomes very, very critical. But also, we have also made a specific call that the procurement divisions in all government departments and spheres of government must actually constantly undergo monitoring as well as investigation.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mapaila, that doesn't answer my question around the Reserve Bank. I just need an answer on that. Unfortunately, we're running late for news.
Even the Reserve Bank, that's what it means, because it's an institution of government.
Okay, thank you so much for that. It is 2 minutes after 11 o'clock. Apologies. Time for Power News.
You've been listening to a Power 98.7 podcast. For more podcasts, visit power987.co.za or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.